Poland, the country of amber jewelry, diverse landscapes, a strong religion, and a very intense history. But is it any good to start a business there? Let's talk about it now! Hi, I'm Oliver and welcome back to the channel AskMeStartup, where we talk about startups, small businesses, and the world that surrounds them. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and pushing the notification bell so YouTube lets you know whenever I'm uploading new content. If you're into business, if you have a small business, if you want to start a business, please feel free to download a free startup checklist, link in the description below. Okay, today's topic, Poland. Is it a good place to start your business? So as always, we first take a look at the facts about the country. Poland being a very central European country, neighboring for instance Germany and Russia, with its capital Warsaw, which is also the biggest and largest city in the country. There are roughly 37 million inhabitants living there, and they are making a GDP per capita PPP, which means purchasing power parity, of roughly $34,000 US. So this already gives you an indication that they are on an emerging pathway and are, let's say, on par with more southern European countries, which are a lot smaller than they are. We are also aware that they have a strong industry and a strong, let's say, natural energy industry, gas and oil, as well as tourism are important due to their very beautiful landscape. However, this is still a farming country and a lot of improvements still need to be done in this country. So if we are a startup and an entrepreneur, we would like to understand how entrepreneurial are the Polish. And if you look and compare them to other European nations, we can say that they're not really entrepreneurial. They're not even very innovative in themselves, which is a pity because I think that they have a rich and a very, very good perspective on the eastern part of Europe. And they are, merging in between the western part of Germany and the eastern part, Russia, for instance. So if we look at the skills of the workforce and the education of the workforce, we can say that they have an average educated workforce and a pretty good skilled labor force. We have to be aware, though, that a lot of the very well-educated people are actually migrating to other European countries. Why? Very simple. Because wages are low in Poland, and hence if you have a good education as, let's say, a doctor or a physicist or a chemist or a biochemist, anything like that, you are very much welcome in Germany, in France, in Belgium, Austria, wherever you want to go, Ireland. They used to go to Great Britain a lot, which of course now they can't, but they're migrating all over Europe due to the fact that it is hard for them to make a decent living in Poland because wages are comparatively low to the rest of Europe. And then we have to look at the legal framework. And it is on par with the Western European countries. However, there have been some changes as of recent, which make it challenging specifically for women to execute some of their basic human rights. That has to do with a strong religion in that country. So sometimes topics might not be optimally addressed within Poland. These are specifically those that are controversial in terms of gender equality, of LGBTQ, etc., etc. That's due to the fact the Catholic Church being a very strong representative in the country. And then we have to take a look at the governmental framework as well, because if we want to start a business, we want to understand what type of support does the government give. And it is a challenge because Poland has become one of the best representative of what is called a nationalistic, populistic mood in terms of what and how people are voting. And that's one of the reasons there are a lot of clashes with the center of the European Union in Brussels, because they do not agree on the way legal changes have been made to the country, which of course is reducing their standards, or what we would address a proper set of legal state. Now, then we also take a look at their corruption index, and there we can see that Poland now ranks only at rank 45 out of 180 countries Transparency International is measuring. which is better than many other European countries, no question about it, but it is decreasing. So, which brings me to the next point. Are there any popular Polish brands that you should be aware of? I've been looking at this very hard and I couldn't find any Polish brands that I was aware of that I thought are internationally relevant. Of course, I mean, if my geographic location would be more to the Eastern European part, I guess some of the companies would mean more to me, but I haven't found any. Nonetheless, the most important ones are again in the oil and gas sector, or in tourism, or in finance. Anything that is typically there and has been the old industries. That, however, doesn't stop Poland to at least push their way into startups slightly. They have happened to realize that IT is the future, and hence there is a lot and a huge talent pool just to the eastern borders of the country. Could be Belarus, could be Ukraine, could be Russia, etc., etc. A lot of very well, highly skilled, educated people that would love to work in a country of the European Union. Hence, they do offer a specific startup program for those IT startups. But I have to be quite frank with all of you, this specifically addresses Ukrainian, Russian, Belarus, Armenia, etc. All these type of countries that have some similarities in the language and are not meant for Indians, for instance, or Africans, which is sad to be told, but that's the way they have set up this program. The good thing then is if you're from those countries, you are also eligible for additional startup funding from the government. Not much, but better some than nothing, right? So is there a startup visa in general then? And the answer I have to give you is no, there isn't. However, they do offer a very clear, comprehensive book on what type of work permits are available. And there are a lot of work permits for companies, etc., that are also addressing people who are non-EU residents. Nonetheless, you will still need to establish a company, which can be cumbersome, specifically if you're not living in the country. And then only after you have registered your company and it is legal, then the company can apply for a work permit for the entrepreneur or the owner of the company, etc. I will link everything in the links down below so you can read through. Nonetheless, I think for startups, specifically if you are outside the IT Russian-speaking part, you might find better opportunities somewhere else in Europe. I will link the video of the best countries up here so you can take a deeper look on which countries might be more suitable for you. All right, everybody. I hope I got everything on Poland that was important for you as a startup entrepreneur. If so, please leave a comment. Tell us how your experience were on Poland, how you are experiencing the whole situation with applying to visas in Poland or with the situation as a startup in your country. I'm looking forward to discuss this with you. Please subscribe if you made it so far in the video and smash the like button. It really helps the algorithm and it really helps to boost that channel to, take off. Thank you for paying attention and I'm gonna see you next time.